much. Hi, everyone. This is really weird, talking into headsets. I quite like this. It feels like my one moment to be Britney Spears in life, although hopefully without the many problems that she's had. If you don't know who I am, my name's Charlotte Ford. I am the former head of marketing for Ruggable. I'm former because I'm just about to take up a new role in the next week. But for now, this is my last hurrah to tell you all about Ruggable and about a very special campaign I worked on called House Lingo. My first main lesson for you guys is that if you have cute children, use them in your advertising for free models. I also recommend doing it before their teeth fall out, because my 7-year-old now has about 4 teeth missing and he doesn't look this cute anymore, so sad. If you don't know who Ruggable are, we are an online washable rug brand. I know, it's really, really exciting. What we stand for is self-expression. And I think everybody's been in the situation where you really want to have beautiful things in your home, but you might have pets, you might have small, angry gremlins, who mean that you can't live your life without compromise. When I was pregnant with my first child, Arthur, my mother-in-law, who features quite a lot in this talk, said, "Oh no, you're going to have to get rid of all of your nice things." And I thought to myself, why? And then I had children and I realized that that's exactly what I had to do. Ruggable was born from the idea that your rugs should be as easy to wash as your bedding. Our founder, Geneva Bell, it's a US-born business. She had a lot of rescue dogs and she had a lot of beautiful Persian rugs. One day, one of her rescue dogs did what rescue dogs do and completely destroyed the rug. She thought to herself, this should be easier. Why can't I wash my rugs as easy as my bedding? So Ruggable is a 2-piece system. The top layer goes into your washing machine and it is easy peasy to wash. I was a customer of Ruggable's before I became part of the brand, and I'm a massive brand advocate for them. I've washed my rug about 11 times this year, mainly due to the children. But it is, I think, a really special product, and it is one that I've been really, really proud to be part of. We've also launched a collection with incredible designs. So Ruggable's one of the unique selling points is that we partnered with brands like Jonathan Adler or Iris Apfel, the legendary fashion designer, to launch really beautiful, colorful, exciting designs that you really want to have in your home. So this isn't just a practical product, it's a fun one as well, because things that are in your home should be joyful. They should give you joy. Now, when I joined Ruggable, I was brought in and I knew the brand predominantly from digital and social media. I'm going to use this lovely AI-generated image to talk to you a little about where the brand was. I was brought in very much to help scale the brand and make it grow with a new audience. Now, Ruggable is symptomatic of what I think is endemic in marketing right now. There are an awful lot of online-first brands that have grown up around COVID that are spending millions and millions of pounds in 2 places, Meta and Google. And because digital ad spend isn't recorded in the same way that above-the-line media spend is, nobody's telling them that that's mad. Nobody is saying to them, you shouldn't be investing all of your money in 2 places. You should be spending your money where your customers are. Unfortunately for Ruggable, that's what the situation we were in. We were spending 80% of our budget on Meta, 20% of our budget on Google. I was brought in to help diversify our media mix and really help scale the brand. Now, this is my favorite way to tell the story about why that's necessary. This is Steve. Steve is covered in rugs. Imagine you're at home, you wake up one day, and you see Steve standing in your front garden. That's weird. You'd be a bit surprised. It doesn't matter that Steve's friendly. It doesn't matter that the rugs are nice. You'd probably think to call the police. And imagine if Steve turned up every day for a week, you'd definitely get a restraining order against Steve. On the other side of it, imagine you saw Steve out and about. You saw him at Tesco. The next day, you saw him at Starbucks. Other coffee shops are available. The third day, you see him at the train station. You wouldn't think to yourself, Christ, I really need a restraining order against Steve. You'd think, oh, I keep seeing that man everywhere. Maybe I should buy a rug. And that's no different for how brands behave. It is really objectively weird to spend all of your money in two places. And I think I can speak for Ruggable, where I offer the UK an apology for targeting 48 million Meta accounts at an average frequency of 54 in the space of a year. I'm really sorry, we won't do it again, but that was really what was representative of the problem. You might have seen a lot of these in your feeds. They're beautiful, beautiful adverts. We have some stunning collections with the likes of Morris & Co, with architectural design, gorgeous things. But again, it's very, very hard to get across a brand personality in a 1x1 square. It doesn't tell me anything about the brand. What does it stand for? Where's the personality? Yes, I know that it's washable, but is there anything else to it? The other problem as well is a fundamental one. It's a US business. This is a really weird nuance, but US houses have much bigger washing machines. I'm very jealous. I wish I had the same. But it meant, though, that a lot of customers who were seeing us on social were really skeptical. They were like, can you fit that in a British washing machine? So it meant that we really had a trust issue to get round. Now, what's the most trusted channel in the UK? It's arguably going to be TV. So it was one of the first places that I looked to take the brand. It was something that I knew we needed to be on in order to help us scale, in order to get those kind of revenue growth targets that we really wanted to meet. But I had no idea where to start. It's also an American brand, and I love my American colleagues very much, but American advertising is very different to British advertising. So that was a real challenge that we had. How do you take a US business that is quite emotional, quite heart-wrenching, lots of scenes of lovely small children, and how do you make it relevant to British consumers in arguably quite a fucking dull category? Sorry, I said I wouldn't swear, but I can't help it. Enter Hyacinth Bucket. This woman is my absolute, she's basically my mother, which is concerning. Fun fact for you, my mum actually asked if we could change my son's birth certificate because it says he was born in Harlow, and she would have preferred Cambridge. Turns out you can't. So Hyacinth Bucket came after a conversation with my creative agency partners when we were talking about the right kind of inspiration. And it's really born from this insight that we're so fucking proud of what's in our homes. We're so proud of the choices that we have in our homes, but we're also obsessed with what other people have in theirs. To the point that my husband last night told me that he actually looks at what my neighbours put in their recycling to work out when they've got a new telly. Concerning. Hyacinth really sums up this kind of essence of what it is to be British, the kind of the witty, the funny, the slightly pompous nature of who we are and the fabric of British culture. Turning that into advertising was incredibly exciting. And we landed on this concept called House Lingo. So House Lingo is really, in an essence, the things that you have in your home speak a language about who you are. And in fact, that language we call House Lingo. I swear it's not just an excuse to slag off my mother-in-law's choice in Live, Love, Laugh pillows. But she has 4, so why? But really, it was an incredible platform that gave us such a license as a brand to tell that story and really connect with British audiences. I'm going to play it for you. I hope it works.
Original tilage. It's saying you like the taste of jealousy right out of the gate.
That is a lot of real estate for your own reflection, don't you think?
See, because it's up there, I feel like I'm going to be hearing a lot about it.
Ah, a Ruggable rug.
Screams tasteful with an eye for design. Annoying neat freak, maybe.
You can stick it in the wash. I had you all wrong. This place is saying all the right things. Now we're talking.
So that's House Lingo. You'll see as well, we've been working with Ellie Taylor, who is a British comedian. She's also strategically in Ted Lasso, and my board loved Ted Lasso, so that was entirely appropriate. Was the easiest signing ever. They were like, yes, we love her, get her. It's a series of choices. I think we've all had that ex-boyfriend. We've all had that ex-boyfriend that likes cycling a little bit too much. And again, I think everybody knows a mother-in-law that loves the live, love, laugh pillow. But really, a Ruggable rug, what it says about you is that yes, you're clever. You know how to have beautiful things that matter to you in your home, but actually, you're easygoing. You know, you can spill a drink. It's fine. You can get the red wine out. It's all right. Your kids can bring their bikes in. Your dog can come in and spray mud everywhere. It's easy to clean. It doesn't mean you can live your life with any kind of compromise. So that's the creative. I now have to shout out some of the amazing people that I've worked with here, because this is absolutely not me. These are the fantastically talented partners that I have working with me. I think a lot of marketers are a bit obsessed with the idea that we can do it alone by ourselves. I read something yesterday that said someone had sacked their entire creative team in favor of AI. Okay. I don't think there is anything else that I can say otherwise that you need to pick the partners you work with and make sure you trust them. Give them all the information you can to help them do their jobs. Marketeers, it's a two-way street. So I was lucky enough to work with, first of all, these two in terms of communications planning, the excellent creative work was done by Fearless Union. Craft Media helped us define the comm strategy, and then the Specialist Works handled media buying for us. We also were lucky enough to take advantage of the ITV Backing Business Initiative, and that really helped us get onto TV for a new-to-TV advertiser. It turned our media investment into working much, much harder for us, and it also enabled us to tap into digital and streaming TV in a way that we hadn't previously thought was possible. It enabled us to place our ad in contextual formats that worked really, really hard. So I'm going to talk about that in a second. But yeah, all four of these partners worked so well for me. So this isn't a sales pitch for them, but I'm going to shout out them out anyway, because I firmly believe that you are only ever as good as the people you surround yourselves with. So, our media strategy, how does it work? And really, I'm going to talk about how you can bridge the gap for an online brand that was terrified of offline media. The way to bridge the gap here is to approach it in the same friendly ways that you would approach a digital campaign. So when I was talking about this internally, I talked about it in the sense of, you know how we invest some money with Pinterest and we make sure that our ads are placed in contextually relevant placements. So when people are looking at mood boarding for their new renovation project, or they're looking at creating a baby's nursery, we make sure that our digital ads are served there too. Contextual programming is absolutely possible with ITVX. And that is exactly what we did as a core part of the plan. It also means I get the opportunity to tell you for 1 minute how much I love Alan Titchmarsh. Seriously. I really hope there's no scandals associated with Alan Titchmarsh, because that's going to hurt me. But I love Alan Titchmarsh deeply, and we were able to place Ruggable ads around his programming. It's also, I think, the proudest my mum's ever been of me. She was very proud when we launched into John Lewis. She was even prouder when she saw us on the ad break for Alan Titchmarsh. But really, that was how it kind of came to life. And actually, it really helped a lot of my team understand that we weren't doing something terrifying or, just going out for broad reach. We were making sure a key part of the plan places in those contextually relevant environments where our audience would see fit. We had to balance both sides of the coin. You need that broad reach and frequency, but you also need to make sure you're being relevant to your audience. Another key part as well was we needed the campaign to have impact. What we did was we shrunk the fight, as Kraft would say. We made sure we focused on London, and we then increased our frequency to make sure we were hitting around sort of a 6-7 frequency, which meant that you were really getting to feel us. We were acting like a bigger brand, and that is something that I've come across in so many different roles now. Small brands get to be bigger brands by borrowing from the behaviors of big brands. That is the way to do it. Hang on. The other thing I'm going to say as well is we extended the idea of House Lingo into other channels. So I'm a really big believer in creative consistency and showing up with as many integrated messages as possible. So we tried to do this with paid social. We referenced this. That's an Iris Apfel design, one of my favorites. I'm just going to skip to the results because I know we're short on time. But did it work? Yes, it did. It really, really, really bloody worked. I want to explain this graph first of all. We measured it by 3 different ways. We did a test with ITV called GeoX. We did our own geo test as well, and then we did an MMM study. All 3 results, it smashed it. To the point where, because we ran the campaign in London, we thought that maybe the Midlands would be a safe control region. It wasn't, because what was happening was people in the Midlands were going in, seeing the ads, or being exposed then to IPTVX when they went home, and then buying from Ruggable. So even the Midlands saw a 34% uplift, which was lovely. It meant instead that we had to go really far up to Scotland and Wales and Cornwall and bits of the country that I don't really go to. But yeah, that was how difficult it was to find people who hadn't been exposed to the ad. It was lovely. So what does it show for us? It showed a 31% rise in users to site. That was comparable to Black Friday 2023 for us. 20% share of voice in the campaign period, about 123 incremental website visits. That was just when the campaign was live as well. It's since been amazing. 33% increase in organic and a 48% increase in paid social. So it also made all of our paid social marketing work really, really hard. And when we reran the campaign in February, we actually pulled our meta budget down by 33% to pay for the TV burst. And we saw absolutely no effects on conversion rate at all. If anything, it improved. We saw a 160% increase in email marketing signups, and we had our best ever Black Friday. And this is my one lesson to brands. If you want to prime your audience ahead of Black Friday, go in September, go in October, because brand has a longer tail effect, but sales are a powerful lever. So if you can get ahead in the couple of months prior, absolutely do it, because you'll be top of mind. I actually laid on the floor during a lot of Black Fridays. I'm not going to tell you the revenue numbers, but it was about 80% year-on-year growth, which was nice. My little boy thought, though, that meant that that was our money, which had to explain that. So thank you so much. That was wonderful to speak to you. And my second question is also, that's my second baby as well. So just keep having children and putting them in advertising, because it works really well. Thank you.